Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Good morning to you. Looking live over the Inner Harbor, and it's a gorgeous day outside. Thanks for being with us this Sunday, November 19th. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's jump right into your forecast. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax is with us with that fall foliage behind her. How's it looking outside?
Hey, Taylor, it looks great. Yes, we have that beautiful fall foliage, and enjoy it while we have it. We're starting to get closer to the peak of that, and we're preparing for cooler temperatures. But right now, starting off 52 over Towson, plenty of sunshine. A little breezy with winds out of the west-northwest, but a pretty nice and quiet start to the day here. We're seeing temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. However, we have our next weather maker on the way, and it's one that could impact your plans for Thanksgiving traveling. As we look farther west, you'll see areas of rain ahead of a warm front. That's what's on our way here, and it could impact your travel plans for the middle of the week. I'll let you know what you can expect and how it looks for the holiday weekend in my full forecast. Taylor?
We cannot turn back, and that's why I am running for re-election to continue to be the mayor of Baltimore City. Get a yard sign, and most of all, spread the word. Get your friends, neighbors, and in the words of my mentor, our forever Congressman Elijah Cummings, get Lottie, Dottie, and everybody to join our movement, because Baltimore, our renaissance is here. Our future is now. We will move our city forward, not backwards.
Now, that big announcement coming from Mayor Brandon Scott as he announces to a packed auditorium he is running for re-election in 2024. Scott touting his accomplishments over the past 3 years as he promises to push Baltimore forward. Scott was joined by community leaders, several lawmakers, including Senator Corey McCray and Councilman James Torrance, who say Scott needs more time to finish what he started when it comes to fully realizing Baltimore's renaissance.
Brandon Scott. Brandon understands from his own experience about the critical importance of being there for our kids.
Because he's not just leading, but he's leading for our generation, George. When I think about every grandmother, every mother, every auntie, every uncle can see their self, can see their son, can see their nephew, can see their grandson in Brandon Scott.
He has programs that go back into the institutions. He has programs that make sure that we have the resources that we need. And he's working hard to make sure that our community allows us to come back home and be resourceful, be a benefit to our community.
Now, amid the praise, the Scott administration has dealt with a number of issues in the last 3 years. That includes turnover in some key positions, including his former chief of staff, the former MONSE director, Shante Jackson, and the former Department of Public Works head, Jason Mitchell. The leaders of the city and the fire department also exiting just this past year. And that kind of turnover is what leads to concerns of instability within City Hall. The mayor has also failed to meet some campaign promises when it comes to public safety. As his opponent, Sheila Dixon, points out, when elected, Scott promised to reduce homicides by 15% each year of his term and drop homicides under 300 in his first year. Keep in mind, Baltimore is on track to meet that goal this year, but she points out it took the mayor 3 years to make it happen.
The promise certainly has not been fulfilled. Murders have gone up every year except this year. So you've had a tremendous uptick in violence in the city, which is exactly the opposite of what he promised.
We question Mayor Scott on why he feels like he should take the sole credit for the drop in homicides. But the mayor's doubled down on his claims as Fox 45 continues to look into a number of changes that could be contributing to the decline. Vincent Hill explains.
Fox 45 pressing Mayor Scott on why he feels he's responsible for a reduction in homicides and non-fatal shootings.
Why do you take credit for that?
Because we put in the effort, right?
Efforts, he says, like MONSE and Safe Streets.
It's important for Baltimore to note 20% reduction, which is double the national average.
But looking at the data, a significant drop in those crimes happened when U.S. Attorney Eric Barron made this announcement, with Mayor Scott in the background.
This Al Capone model of prosecution is designed to take violent people off the streets by any appropriate legal means necessary.
And when City State's Attorney Ivan Bates was sworn into office, a much tougher on crime prosecutor than Marilyn Mosby, who Mayor Scott once shared the stage with.
Now this mayor, Mayor Scott, the commissioner, And
Since Barron and Bates took office, homicides are down 20%, and non-fatal shootings 9%.
Some data shows that when Ivan Bates and Eric Barron took office, we began to see
I think that's false data.
The mayor doubling down, saying he's the one responsible for a safer Baltimore.
I love them both dearly. Their cases are made by police officers that work for Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore City. We direct. The rest are done by us. All the enforcement is done by us.
Political analyst John Deedy calling those comments political.
The mayor, smart politically, will take credit for this stuff because when you're running for re-election and numbers are going down, you want to hang a star on it.
And pointing to the problems the mayor's claims are based on.
But the problem is it gets mitigated by the fact that now you have the feds looking into the Safe Streets location and maybe looking into other things.
Now, during this campaign event, the mayor touted the Safe Streets program, a cornerstone of his crime-fighting plan. Fox 45 News has spent this week pressing the mayor about the program time and time again, trying to get answers after the FBI raided at least one location last month and the homes of a number of employees. One employee is now facing state charges, and sources say it could be over alleged gang ties.
What do you say to taxpayers who are concerned about the possible link between this street gang in Baltimore and this program funded by the government that's supposed to prevent violence from happening?
What I'll say, Mackenzie, what I always say, no matter who it is, right? If they're doing that kind of activity, whether they're a police officer, whether they're a DPW worker, whether they work at the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success, anybody, any individual that has those kind of ties will be dealt with through law enforcement.
I don't care if it's Mackenzie Frost, whoever it is. If they're in the streets of Baltimore and they're doing things with BGF or any other organized person, if we find out, we will do what we do all the time. If you're involved in illegal activity, it can be my mother. She'll be treated the same way.
Now, for years, Fox 45 News has been fighting for details on Safe Streets, demanding answers about city leaders and how they decide who's hired for this program, what those workers do on a daily basis, and how the money given to Safe Streets is spent. A taxpayer watchdog says the lack of transparency is alarming, especially with the new developments of the FBI investigation.
Fox 45 filed your Sunshine Open Records request asking for the payroll names of the violence interrupters that work for the Safe Streets program. Those names were redacted from the payroll information. Now you have the city's top charities running this program. You got Catholic Charities running this. You got LifeBridge running this. And look, they were not transparent with who works in those positions. And now you've done a great job of, over the course of the last 10 to 12 years, exposing gang infiltration on the violence interrupter payroll.
Fox 45 will continue to press city leaders for answers on the Safe Streets program, the spending, and we'll bring you the latest here on the FBI investigation as we learn more. City residents blaming new bike lanes for massive traffic backups, with some saying they don't even see bikes on them anyways. Fox 45 News takes a closer look at their frustrations.
And we're getting ready for a beautiful afternoon with plenty of sunshine and highs in the low 60s, but cooler temperatures and rainfall later this week. I'll let you know how that could impact Thanksgiving travel coming up.
All right, continuing coverage this morning, Baltimore neighborhoods are growing more and more frustrated with bike lanes. Now, residents argue those lanes are hardly getting any use and they're holding up surrounding traffic. We take a closer look at their frustrations and if the city can even afford to continue adding the lanes they've planned.
I haven't seen a bike around here since I've been around here. Not one. 3 years.
In northeast Baltimore, this stretch of Harford Road, once 4 lanes, now down to just 2, as traffic lanes turn into bike lanes.
Baltimore laid this out in 2017, and they said that they wanted to spend $27 million for 77 miles of bike lanes.
But to date, that project over budget and behind schedule.
There's about 17 miles of bike lanes, which equates to about $1.5 million.
Yet already the impact on congestion.
Treacherous.
As taxpayers foot the bill for their own headache.
These costs add up and they take away from other transportation priorities in the city.
Taxpayer advocate David Williams questions whether Baltimore City truly has the funds to spare.
We just found out earlier this week that Baltimore has a deficit of $100 million next year.
As of now, no plan to pause or reconsider the project, so expect more traffic lanes will vanish into bike lanes.
And the way they're going to do it is by narrowing every street that they can, even though it has a negative impact, economic impact on the cities.
If a community doesn't want them, don't build them.
Williams says it's time to get vocal about the impact it's having in your neighborhood.
Call your city council member. Just a few people calling a city council member can get things done, and and that's what representative democracy is all about, is calling your elected officials. So I think there are ways of addressing this.
All right, take a look at this. Baltimore police seized 15 illegal dirt bikes and ATVs from a northwest Baltimore business. Police shared these photos from Park Heights Avenue. It's the same location where 33 dirt bikes were confiscated back in June. Now, BPD says 169 illegal dirt bikes have been seized across the city this year alone. Many of those bikes, though, are now sitting at an impound lot on Pulaski Highway as residents grow more frustrated with the bikes disrupting drivers and neighborhoods.
It's a nightmare.
There's bigger problems that they seem to worry about, and I get that. It's just annoying. It's drives us crazy.
I would call for a day of accountability. I'd bring those bikes together, bring a bulldozer, I would crush every one of them, and then pile all the confiscated guns and crush them as well. A day of accountability for those dirt bikes and for guns.
A BPD spokesperson says if a dirt bike is stolen, it is returned to its owner. But if the bike or ATV was used on the streets illegally, it is up to the city solicitor to determine if it is ever returned to that owner. When camaraderie meets compassion, after the break, how you can help some brothers give back to make sure no family goes hungry this Thanksgiving. And we're looking ahead to some sunny skies today with temperatures above average. Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax is tracking your holiday travel forecast. Stay with us here at Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. and impactful? 'Cause I got it. All right, this Thanksgiving, brothers are giving back quite literally. Nonprofit Brothersgiving has worked to make sure no family in the surrounding areas, Anne Arundel County beyond, goes hungry on Thanksgiving. With us this morning, co-founders Cameron Foreman and Alex Harris. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Okay, so guys, over the last 6 years, you guys have raised over $20,000, fed over 500 families in Maryland. How do you guys pull this off?
So we started in 2018. We start off by working through Anne Arundel County pupil personnel workers, which are like social workers.
Yeah.
They're tapped into the families that are in need, and they pretty much populate a list for us. And then we, go through our own individual networks to fundraise all the money, do all the shopping, make the packages, and we hand deliver them.
So what's the goal this year?
The goal this year, we have about 50 families that we're feeding this year.
Yeah. And so people, I'm sure they want to get involved. What can they do to make sure that they're getting the money into the right place so you guys can do the good work that you do?
So we have donation platforms on all the different payment platforms, Cash App, Zelle, what's the other one? PayPal, and
Venmo as well.
Yeah. We try to keep them.
Keep it consistent. Look,
Yeah.
Alex, I know you have a special relationship with food. Talk to me a little bit about why this is so impactful and what kind of you see when you're able to deliver these meals to families who need them.
I'm gonna let Cam talk about how we kind of got started, but how it comes full circle. It really is about consumption, and this is a particular time of year that people want to get together with their families, and food is always kind of the centerpiece.
Right.
But especially for Thanksgiving, we just wanted to make sure that families were able to celebrate in whichever ways that they wanted to, and not have to worry about that financial burden of having a meal.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk about how we got started. That might help it clear up.
So in 2018, we're concluding our college career, just graduated. Excuse me, just graduated. So we see a need in the community. So we took it upon ourselves as blessed and had the ability to make it happen. So we put our minds together and created Brothersgiving. So what we do is we have sponsors. Our sponsors donate in contributions that we have set up. We have sponsors that some may donate a small lump sum, a big lump sum, or whatever they can give. So we take all those contributions, we put it together, and that's when we go do our shopping.
And you guys shop for everything yourselves. You guys pack it up and then send out some notification to make sure people get exactly what they want.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we send out a menu to the PPWs, and they pretty much check off the box. Ham, turkey, or families that don't have access to an oven, we do rotisserie chickens.
Okay.
And then all the canned goods, they'll be able to just check the box on whatever they want. Beverages, we do sweet rolls or cornbread, and yeah.
And so okay, look, Thanksgiving is on Thursday, you guys. You've got a few more days left to get those final donations. So best of luck to you guys. Thanks for doing the important work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and send it over to meteorologist Jasmine Lomax, who I just learned you went to high school with these two young men.
I did. Yeah, that's right. Good friends from high school. So it's great to have them here and see the great work that they're doing in our community. Now, if you are planning on spending some time outside today over the next few days, we do have some big changes coming. Today stays pretty nice and quiet, but we are talking rain in the forecast. 54, nice and sunny currently over Baltimore. A little breezy with winds out of the west-northwest, but around the state, not too bad, seeing temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. This afternoon, we are heading to the low 60s, slightly above average for this time of year, but we'll start to cool down overnight, and you'll notice a big drop in those temperatures tomorrow. Now we'll stay nice and dry today and tomorrow thanks to high pressure over the region, but as we look west, you'll notice a warm front and areas of rain ahead of that. That's all a part of our next weather maker, and it will lead to impacts not just here, but around the region that could impact your pre-Thanksgiving travel. So if you're traveling today, it looks good around Maryland. To the north, we may see a few showers, a few snow showers for parts of New England, but we dry out overnight and we start with dry weather tomorrow. Then into the afternoon, mostly dry around the region. It's Tuesday when we have that next weather maker coming, and it will lead to areas of rain, possibly a wintry mix for some. For us around the Baltimore area, you can expect areas of heavy rain at times continuing into the night and then tapering for Wednesday morning. Not a washout for the day, but we will have cloudy skies by the afternoon. Nice and dry for Thanksgiving. Also, Black Friday, dry. Same thing for Saturday, mostly dry. So it's really right before Thanksgiving, Tuesday, and again on Wednesday, when you need to take into consideration that rain before you travel. 60 for the high temperature this afternoon, with temperatures just a hair above average. Then as we move forward tomorrow, we're talking 50 for the high, well below average for this time of year. 54 on Tuesday with rain on the way, 58 on Wednesday with a few morning showers. Again, we dry out by the afternoon, so it looks better for travel. Then 53, slightly below average for the Thanksgiving holiday, but we'll have plenty of sunshine for Black Friday. 54, partly cloudy skies, and then 54 once again on Saturday. Taylor?
All right, all sounds good, Jasmine. A bright spot for you this morning. Retired firefighters and some current members came together to help benefit the local community. It was all part of an Old Farts luncheon and toy drive. Yes, you heard that name right. The Old Farts got together and they actually had breakfast, not lunch, while bringing toys to be collected for Toys for Tots. Members tell Fox 45 News that a certain someone you may know as St. Nick or Kris Kringle stopped by to join in on the festivities.
Santa was here, so Santa helped us usher the toys off for Toys for Tots. So it was a pretty big deal today for us.
Firefighters tell us it's one of their favorite traditions and that it gives them a chance to hear stories and learn from other crew members. All right, let's see if you would do this. Soon you'll be able to purchase a car at Amazon. The commerce giant is adding Hyundai cars and SUVs to its huge list of online items. Unfortunately, though, the car will not be delivered to your home. You'll need to pick it up at a local dealership. The program does not apply to all Hyundai locations, so you'll pick the closest one that participates near you when purchasing that vehicle. Hidden Valley Ranch is doubling down on a classic flavor. The company announced a new collaboration with itself to make an X-shaped bottle of ranch. It's a lot going on here. Hidden Valley says it comes with double the herbs, the spices, and of course, double the bottles. The new limited edition ranch bottle is now available. And if you don't like waffles by itself, you might like your waffles with coffee or in your coffee. That is according to Coffee Mate and Eggo. They're teaming up to make a waffles and maple syrup flavored creamer. It supposedly adds a rich and syrupy buttery taste to your morning brew, and the new caffeinated concoction will set you back about $5. You can get it on store shelves in January for a limited time. Okay, we're looking at highs in the upper 60s today. After the break, meteorologist Jasmine Lomax will have more on how your work week, turkey week is shaping up in her full 7-day forecast.